Okay, everyone, it's Roxanne Grinage. I'm a legal assistant, marketing, careers project manager for a Pennsylvania and U.S. Department of Registry registered sole proprietorship internet company, HireLyrics Administrative Services. This begins a video series of teaching segments that we are using to share our learning. With regard to what? We are sharing our learning for how the layperson, the person who's not an official, not a law enforcement agency, not a court officer, how they can use pro se and layperson, non-attorney represented filings to attract no-nonsense litigators who may take their cases, may see the setup of paralegal data management, proper eDiscovery, and court compliant filings on both the state court level and federal level, who may take on the foster care personal injury abuse cases, the personal injury and damages caused by unlawful imprisonment, illegal detainer, retaliatory arrest, police brutality, so I'm going to be reading different segments of how a legal assistant like me also simultaneously markets a case study page. The consumer audiences that we want to consume our work product contribution of case history, background, verifications, evidence gathering, depositions, expert witness testimony, and witness testimony are the legal industry, the legal community, professionals, the support services for the professional, legal support services, and criminal justice, law enforcement, prosecutors, attorney generals, state legislatures making decisions about funding, making determinations about mass fraud and who should be investigated and who should be indicted, so that we can do not only our court compliant filings properly redacted, we can upload them properly redacted so that qualified experts can see what the merits of the case are, the jurisdictional challenges, the contingent liabilities, and see what they want to take on individually, or when they see a growing class action is needed. In this case, one having to do with impacting public safety. Okay? The public integrity commissioners, they can look at this and they can say, this is truly a public safety issue when our Philadelphia juvenile courts or any juvenile court in any state deliberately, legally malpractices the dependency and custody of a child, an adolescent, a young adult, or a disabled or aging person for no other reason than to accommodate the RICO, racketeering influence, corrupt organization, kidnap for profit schemes of the city, of this case Philadelphia Department of Human Services, or the Department of Human Services Employee Misconduct in other states trusted to dispense the federally funded Children's Protective Services money intended for the preservation of families. Okay? So we're going to be uploading links to authoritative references, right? You're free to use them. There'll be a download, and depending on where you're seeing this video series, they're going to be long segments. I'm doing this especially for CNN iReport, where we can upload like 30, 36 minutes at a time. Now, what do we want to, when we market this case study, what do we want to market it as, right? In other words, who are we trying to attract? We're trying to attract the expertise that already documented the modus operandi of a crime where there were already multiple indictments. So we're not complaining about our prosecutors. Well, we're not saying everybody's corrupt. We know everybody's not corrupt. There's some people that took their oaths to uphold public safety very seriously. There's some people who take the Constitution very seriously, and there's some people who really know that each state has a Constitution too. that says it's okay to petition your courts for redress. We have a right to petition our courts for redress of grievances, whether we went to law school or not. We can report that a crime has occurred to us. When there's theft, when there's injury, when there's assault, when there's aggravated assault, those are crimes, and we have a right to gather that evidence and put it into the court. No, we don't. We know that we need skilled attorney representation, not conflict of interest representation. You have to try. This is a new step that we have to take. Something that we're learning we have to do. The trumped up charge for welfare fraud. Okay, so welfare fraud for here in Pennsylvania is handled out of the Office of Inspector General. So we go to the federal agency and we get their form, their complaint form. How do we complain that fraud has occurred about our Social Security disability benefits? We don't want to complain about a person. We want to complain about these DHS social workers who so badly mismanaged my records in a workers' compensation case, by the way. A workers' compensation settlement distribution went back into find all type of mistakes. Hope you didn't save the proof. Hope you didn't save the canceled checks that they were paid to claim that they weren't paid. Okay? So we have that we're going to fill out. I also have Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of State Statement of Complaint. This is a form that we're going to start filling out these forms to actually complain about a professional occupational license, certificate of registration, a notary or other. Like these people, these social workers, these court psychologists doing the fraud mental health exams, court order mental health exams, they're licensed by the state. So you're going to start putting in complaints asking to have their license revoked every time you have proof of their perjury or fraud crime or incompetence, that they're not able to keep their records together, and their malpractice. Okay. This is the letter that Sharice wrote to Judge Jonathan Q. Irvine on May 21st. And that's why they're retaliating against her. This is, hi, Grayson. This is the Department of Justice claim form. Alright? For damages caused by the employees of a federal funded agency. Department of Human Services gets federally funded Children's Protective Services money. And those employees that are yanking children around and telling people come in and we just want to see if the kid is okay, telling the grandmother and keeping her and then barring all contact, they are criminals. Okay, they have caused personal injury damages. So now the Department of Justice, their insurance has to pay for that and get rid of these employees. Let's put some more pressure on them to get indictments. These documents, they're in all different venues. They're complaint forms in all different venues, but they come together compiled as an evidence module that you're going to submit to your state prosecutors as one more reason. Right now here in Pennsylvania, HireLyrics is up to 206. Nationally, we are approaching 3,000 verified claims of federal crime victim witnesses that are created by some sort of official structure fraud, civil rights crimes, perjury by someone officially positioned to do so and deliver legal malpractice. Then you have your report of suspected child abuse. This is what they put in on you, all right? This is for Title 23, Pennsylvania, CSA, Chapter 63, Child Protective Services Law. Why wait? Why don't you put one when you witness a social worker pushing your daughter in the back? When you witness these social workers making your son, your almost adult son, young adult, trying to get on with his life, stealing his Social Security, afraid to come home, threatening to lock up the mother unless she produces him. When you witness this, you fill out a child abuse complaint form on these criminal DHS employees responsible for the operation of the Pennsylvania Child Welfare Organization, who are acting in racketeering, influence, corrupt organization, RICO, indictable capacity. What's this? This is the disciplinary board of the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. Now, all in of itself, by itself, complaining about an attorney in his ethics to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania or any bar association is a joke. All right? But this as a piece of many pieces of law-abiding, responsible actions that you could take without attorney representation, it has its place in the evidence module. You know, they can't say that you didn't let them know. So you're building all of these, and when one form is seen, all of them are seen in your eDiscovery data disk, okay? Or links. You can upload links. We can transmit files now. By the way, if an attorney or anyone wants to take on any of our clients' case, there's never, ever any of our case studies, there's no fee associated with HireLyrics transmitting it. The only thing I require is transmitting our entire case history, published or not. Many of our cases are, of course, understandably kept confidential because of the retaliation. But I will transmit it, but I require from you in writing who you are and what the nature of your contractual relationship is with the client. You may be a journalist, you may be a media expert, a producer of a talk show, or an attorney who wants this for your files. You don't have to give me any referral fee or any costs involved, but you do have to show me the capacity in which you're going to represent the HireLyrics client matter. All right, Pennsylvania Child Abuse History Clearance Form. Instead of waiting to go apply for a job or go get your grandkids, right, to find out that the DHS social workers reported you fraudulently to the Child Abuse Registry Fraud so that they could embezzle the money into their own pockets and say we couldn't find a way to streamline heritage and family and community. So we had to transport the child, and we got $6,000, the social worker, to the foster contractor. And then the child was crying too much and wouldn't sit down after we beat them and wanted to miss their family. So we had to give them a Ritalin, and now they're diagnosed with ADHD and a bunch of other psychotropic chemicals with warning signs on them that say that not to be given to anybody under 21 years old. And we had to give them the freezes and the shakes, and 7-year-olds want to kill themselves for their suicide. We had to do all that to them. So now they're a special needs child, and I get $4,000 more in my pocket because they're a special needs child. And the longer I can hold on to them, and then the foster care gets to hold them for 30 days, and then they get to say, I really love this child. They say that 3 or 4 times, and then they get the adoption tax credit through Health and Human Services for up to, this year it was $13,000 per child. And now they're able to buy these people that were on non-taxable sources of income, ignorant, welfare, incestuous, child traffickers, right? Now they get to afford first-time homebuyer loans from Freddie Mac, the big mortgage company that was bailed out by the Obama administration, who's just waiting, who sponsors Wednesday's Child, and today's NBC anchors, sponsors it to make it look like in media that they're doing an honorable thing, giving a child who needs a home. They never tell you it was a well-loved child who was well taken care of, and their family was looking for them and wants them back. Okay? All right. So get your own Pennsylvania Child Abuse Clearance History Form in. It's a $10 money order right now. I'm doing this video July 7th, okay? So 2013. All right? And then get your child history clearance form back right away. It'll be a piece of information that you back them up with, because databasing, just like we say, U.S. Citizens Control Public Search Incident Report Docket Database, let the citizens control. Once verified, let us publish the full facts and evidence in a U.S. Citizens Control Public Docket Database. If you couldn't be there to speak for yourself, what would you want the world to know about you and your family? Well, about how you and your family were victimized by a machine-like process. If you couldn't be there to speak for yourself, what would you want the world to know about how you and your family were victimized by a machine-like process? Champions of patriotism, federal crime victim voters, vote, cross-party lines, how 2,000 federal crime victim class action case studies innovate champions of patriotism, 11 new federal laws. We're actually able to reform our courts, our quality of life, our economy, education, prisons, judicial accountability with forging new laws can come out of here as we see what is needed jurisdictionally, in class, demographically, okay, spanning every human demographic. It's a people-eating machine. It's mechanized, so you have to come back with a mechanized attack. The attack is mechanized, a systemic perversion of processes and malpractice are occurring in gear-like fashion. There's no accountability. So you have to set forth right away, start measuring accountability. Once you get that accountability measured, who's responsible for messing up a form, who was incompetent, who was malicious, who was willful, who willfully recklessly endangered the child, who falsified case reports. Once you get all that up there, right, verified, publish it in a U.S. citizen's docket so that you can keep it moving in a competitive process where we are literally fighting for our existence as a species, societal preservation. All right? So what's this one? Oh, this is my HireLyrics checklist fact sheet. This is my HireLyrics checklist fact sheet. Children Protective Services Agency employees. These are the pieces of information, the components of information that I try to pull for you as that front desk legal secretary that you encounter by using an internet technologies enabled administrative services, legal assistant, standard access, the legal assistant, marketing career project manager. What's this? Oh, don't take tax advice. Don't take IRS tax advice from a DHS social worker or a court practitioner. They're going to tell you, oh, your child didn't live with you X amount of months, so you don't qualify. That's because they want to one-up you, get your child's identity information in first. So the foster care worker, they could steal their social security and their identity and everything first. Because know this, the rules, regulations, rule of law, policies and procedures change depending on what venue you're in. If you're being victimized by a state agency, they are only an adverse party. They're a litigant. So the objective is to prove how the court has given them favor, prove how the court was prejudiced and legal malpractice all these laws rules of law to give them favor. But when you start talking about the federal agencies, the Internal Revenue Service and Social Security, they have a whole different set of criteria for what constitutes dependency. All right? So don't take tax advice from them and move aggressively to claim the expenses that you paid in trying to rescue and protect your child. Okay? All right. Before they do, because the IRS, once you put in if they put your child's Social Security number in first, and they're always changing our children's Social Security number after the recommended adoption, they cut off all ties and all that in 22 months. Don't take IRS tax advice from a DHS social worker or a state court employee. Grinage family took our unspeakable pain to community. Community. What was our unspeakable pain? Fern Brown Caplan and Judge Robert J. Matthews destroying my grandchildren, Ezekiel, Zadkiel Brown, and Arriyel, Roxanne Brown. All evidence in the row, facts, drug screens, yeah, we got this, calling up, getting bribes, proof, video, you're getting bribes, right? To put the children in the most dangerous situation with a bunch of child rapists and ignorant thugs as they possibly can, right? So we took that unspeakable pain to community. Community, because we're marketers. HireLyrics has been marketing protecting rights of ownership to work product contributions since 2000. So we knew the answers were in mass. The answers were in community. The answers were in similarly situated. The answers were in finding our people. Okay, so we went into community. Community didn't give us back hugs and kisses. Community didn't say, oh, poor baby. Community gave us back claims. Community gave us back resonating claims. Say, yeah, that happened to me too. Yeah, you got a form with Judge Robert J. Matthews' name on it. He destroyed my cousin's family. He destroyed my mother's family. He destroyed my father's family. He destroyed my family. And yeah, I'm going to put the names of my children on here. I have a right to put the names of the children that I gave birth to, that God saw fit to give me birth to. You know, so knowing that it's not going to make an evil, demonic judge like Kevin M. Doherty and Robert J. Matthews and Margaret T. Murphy and Alice Beck-DeBow, and now it seems like Jonathan Q. Irvine stepped down. But it is going to be that much more data for probable cause to send to those special prosecutors in our state who are about public integrity and care about this public safety issue and have already done the press conference recognizing and stating that corrupt officials cannot police themselves.